Good morning, everyone. It is a drizzly and wet day here, but it is in the upper 50s, so that is a good thing, and I am on my way to Duran Farms. And yeah, I don't usually have to go on a Thursday. I usually wait until a Friday or a Saturday. But I went early last week because I ran out of creamer. Well, guess what? Yeah, because I went and got things early last week. Now it's pushing it up again this week. So, yeah, maybe Wednesday or Thursday will be my new day to go to Duran Farms. Who knows? But anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I will talk to all of you, yeah, when I get back. It dawned on me once I got home from Duran Farms that there might be some of you who don't even know what Duran Farms is. Well, Duran Farms is a local farm that's just actually maybe a quarter mile down the road, and she has a store that it's not that old. I think maybe 7 or 8 years old, but I thought I would show you some of the products that she sells. Well, first off is the milk. And this milk is raw milk because raw milk is legal in Pennsylvania. And this comes from a dairy in Bear Lake, Pennsylvania. And the next thing that I can get there is I can get farm fresh eggs. So I can get farm fresh eggs that is $3 a dozen. And because I don't have chicken, so that's how I get my eggs. The other thing that I can get there is baking powder. Now you might wonder, why would I want to buy baking powder from her? Because this one is aluminum free. Another thing that I can get there is I can get ham, deli ham. And this is also from a local farm just on the other side of Pennsylvania in Ohio. I can get chocolate chips. And I can get some sauces and relishes that are also local. This one happens to be raspberry chipotle sauce. This is wonderful. It has a very nice balance between the raspberry and the chipotle. My husband and I both love it. And I don't usually like things that are hot. And this is piccalilli. And this here is hot pepper relish. They have lots of different relish, and then that's also where I get my local raw honey. So these are just a few of the things that I can get at Duran Farms. Very blessed to be so close to such a wonderful store. I thought I would share something with you that I just never knew about. But yesterday I went to get my dogs their food, and I go to a place that is, they specialize in only selling your better dog foods, and they sell like the raw foods in the freezer section, and yeah, it's just really a lot going on there. But I had mentioned to the gentleman how my one dog was going to be turning 11 this year, and that she's developing a lot of gassy issues, and it seems to be a little bit uncomfortable for her sometimes. And I didn't figure it was the food because we buy them pretty good food. And I figured it was age, and he figured it's the same thing. And this is what he recommended. It's called Answers Pet Food. That's the name of the company. But what this is raw goat's milk, but it is fermented. So it's a way of the dogs getting probiotics naturally. And I just found it to be really intriguing because what it says is that they use fermentation to replace pasteurization as a safe and a natural choice. In fact, this is supposed to be so healthy that your dog would be able to survive just on this. And what's in it is honey, raw honey and cinnamon. That's what feeds the bacteria. But I just thought that was so interesting. It comes frozen like this, and you just, thaw it out in your refrigerator. And yeah, they loved it. I put it on their food this morning, and they acted like I had just thrown down a steak. So anyways, I just thought that was really interesting. If you happen to have animals that have little bits of tummy issues going on, and you want something that is a natural alternative, you should look this up. But that's what it's called, A+, and then it says Answers Pet Food. So yeah, and it wasn't expensive. For this pint, it was, I believe, $5. And I only need to use like 2 ounces or less with each meal, so it's not going to be very expensive. Anyways, talk to you in just a little bit. Well, one of the other things that I have accomplished today is I got my marigolds planted, finally, because yeah, they take a while to germinate and get big enough to be able to plant outside, and I knew I had to do it or I wasn't going to be able to. So I got those done, and those are right here, the ones that you don't see any green plants growing on. And this happens to be the English daisy that I planted a while ago. And I had this in the same tray as the African daisy that I had planted, but I needed to take off the dome because the African daisy was getting tall and it was starting to want to hit the top of that dome. So I knew I needed to get that dome off. So I just went ahead and put them in this tray. That way I can have the dome on, and these are still very tiny. So yeah, kind of working on things around the house and getting things cleaned up, and yeah, all around it's been a good day because I actually have my kitchen window open and there's this wonderful warm breeze coming through that I am forever thankful for. Anyways, talk to you out in just a little bit. For today's devotion, we will be reading from 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. But in your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. No matter who you are, if you walk with Christ and grow in wisdom through His Word, He will use you for His eternal purposes. In the book called Heart After God, Running with David by Louis Palau, he tells about a story from one of his evangelistic crusades in Paraguay. After each crusade, they would set up a family counseling centers where people could come for spiritual help, and they would train the local people to work with them and to teach them how to lead people to Christ and how to deal with common problems. At one crusade, there was a man named Jose who took the training but was illiterate. However, this man loved the Lord and he had a fantastic memory and passed all the training exams because he had memorized all the answers. But because he couldn't read or write, the training director had told the receptionist not to assign anyone to Jose who may look like a professional person. Well, one day, all the counselors were busy when a very distinguished looking gentleman walked in. He was obviously a professional person, and all the other counselors were with other people except Jose. The receptionist was beginning to get flustered, but Jose was alert, and he walked up to this gentleman and told him that he was available to help him. So Jose took the gentleman into a room and talked with him. And there he led him to Jesus Christ. As it turned out, this gentleman was a medical doctor. But meanwhile, the receptionist had contacted the training director to explain the situation to him. And so when the doctor and Jose walked out of that session, the training director was there and greeted the doctor warmly. But he only received a quick hello, which made the training director think that Jose must have blown the session. So he told the receptionist that the next time a distinguished looking gentleman comes in to make sure that he is assigned to another counselor, do not give him to Jose, to call him and he would take care of it if necessary. Well, it so happened that the very next day, this same doctor returned. But this time he had 2 men with him. These men were well-dressed and impressive-looking men. And again, Jose was the only counselor free. So the secretary rushed off to get the training director, who came out and turned on the charm, offering to help the man and his friends. But the man insisted that his friends talk alone with Jose. So Jose took the men into his private office, and he led the doctor's 2 friends, who were also doctors, by the way, to faith in Christ. And the next day, the 3 doctors brought in a 4th man who was having family problems, and they wanted to take him to Jose. And there, the illiterate Jose led that man to Christ also. The following week, these doctors had a party, and only one from the counseling staff was invited, and that was the humble and uneducated Jose. And with that, I want to remind you, life happens. Let's enjoy it. It would do us all good to remember what Acts chapter 10, verse 34 tells us when Peter said, I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism. Our God is no respecter of persons. God bless, and I will talk to you on Monday.